Please like and comment on the video below. That will allow me to produce better quality videos and more of them in the future. If you're interested in learning to trade successfully on sports, then why not visit the BetAngel Academy, where we have more detailed videos. So during the Cheltenham Festival, on one day, I think it was the Friday, I posted up a hyper-speed video of the market, which actually went down pretty well on Twitter. And I thought it would be interesting and fun to put some of those on YouTube for you to have a look at. And it's something I've always recommended that you do screen recordings, because screen recordings allow you to reflect on what happened in the market, have a look at it, and decide how that's going to influence what you do in the future. But what a lot of people don't do, that I also recommend, is when you look at those screen recordings, if you speed them up, then have a look at the way the market behaves and see if you would have made a different decision. So when you look at the recordings that are going to be appended to the back end of this part of the video, have a look at it and see how it influences your thinking, because it will transform the way that you think. But also you may want to try something else that's a little bit unusual, and that is actually slowing down the refresh rate when you're trading using BetAngel. Now, when you're using BetAngel, you can refresh it up to 20 milliseconds. So you can refresh it 50 times a second. So that's incredibly fast, very, very fast. But the problem when you're doing that is the screen looks very busy and there's flashing lights all over the place and stuff's happening, and maybe that's like evoking some emotion in you to act. And that can be really bad when you're trading. So, you know, the price ticks up and you're thinking, ah! And then it forces you to jump. So if you are a little bit jumpy like that, and usually you want to try and avoid that. So, you know, I know this is going to sound crazy, but slow the refresh right down. And maybe just refresh once a second, because then what you're doing is you're making a decision once every second or once every 15 seconds or something. And that may focus your mind in terms of the decision that you're making. But if it's flashing around all over the place really quickly, then you may find that accidentally influences your emotional response to something that happens in the market. So yeah, you know, speed up your videos, slow down your refresh, and you may get a different view of the market. But those are things that are underestimated, really. That's why I meticulously record videos and go back and review them, and sometimes publish them on YouTube or on the Academy. And it's big to learn and reinterpret stuff. And, you know, the videos I recorded at Cheltenham this year, I'll look at next year to remind myself of how the market's behaved. And I'll do that in a number of ways, and one of them is looking at them at very high speed. So anyhow, let's have a quick look at some of the videos that I recorded at high speed. I don't think it's worth narrating them, and I'm not going to put all of them on there. And if you are interested in seeing all of them on there, then maybe I can upload them to the Academy, where it would make more sense to have that sort of educational content. But yeah, have a look at them and see if it influences the way that you would have traded these markets. So if you look at these videos, they're compressed. They're 10-15 minute videos compressed into a very, very short time period. But the interesting thing about it is you can see on these particular markets just how little movement there is, and that means that your scope for a loss on whatever position you take is limited as well within these markets. On this one, we're looking at a very competitive race, but if you note, the third favourite here has a much bigger traded range than the front two. So you can see here that that bigger traded range seems to translate into greater volatility during that last 10 minutes. And in this one, we're looking at a much, much shorter priced favourite. And the interesting move here, if you keep an eye on it, was on the second favourite, where the price started to move significantly. It received a lot of laying very late on here. But note what little impact that actually had on the favourite. And there was a limited activity on the third as well. But the big thing here was just how much that second favourite moved and the range in which it actually moved during that particular market. Anyway, hope that's been interesting for you.